So, I finally finished my Mandocello. This has been a long project. It's about, I don't know, 6 months since I started it. But I did it very slowly and meticulously, and I was quite determined that everything was going to be to the highest standard that I can achieve, at least at the moment. The second thing is that it's not actually going to stay with me, this one. And the reason is I was planning on building Mandocello for quite a long time, and my brother called me up and he said, you reckon you could build me an Irish bouzouki? And I said, well, I can try. So he said, great, just take your time and no worries, when you feel you got the time to do it. And so I had to think, and I said I really wanted to build this Mandocello and see if I could make one. So I called him back and I said, how about a Mandocello? And he said, yeah, definitely, if you reckon you can make one. And again I said, well, I'll see. You don't know until you've tried. But it is done, and it certainly works. I'll go through it and just explain what I've done. And there are some quite unusual features about this one, which aren't maybe all that obvious. And the first one is the top, which is a nice spruce top. And what's so unusual about that? Well, it's actually from an old piano. So it's quarter sawn, very tightly grained spruce. And for those of you who don't know, a piano soundboard is just like a really big guitar top. The difference being is that it's 12 millimeters thick, which actually is really good when you got to use it. So I managed to get a hold of one of these giveaway pianos, and it turned out to have really nice tight grain. Of course you don't get the nice, this is a 3-piece, you don't get these nice book matched and things. They're usually about the right size for maybe a ukulele, and you could book match say a standard mandolin, but for a Mandocello or say a guitar you're gonna have to live with having it in more pieces. And then what I did was I got slightly carried away with doing the decoration around the sound hole. Let's see if I can get that in there. You see it's a 3-ply rosette with a bit of mahogany at the top there, so a half moon. So it's mahogany, birch and mahogany. And the mahogany has a little bit of an interesting story. I'll shorten it extremely much, but basically a friend of mine who is from Ethiopia and a musician, he plays the Ethiopian karara. I might be saying that wrong, but it's a harp, like a lyre. And he said, I have this one that I brought with me from Ethiopia, and I had it for 25 years. I'm now an old man and I can't play it properly any longer. The body's too deep. Do you think you could help me just reduce it so I can play it again, because it has sentimental value? And I said, sure, no problem. And we took off about 15 millimeters of the depth of the body, and it was mahogany. So I said, do you mind if I keep this? No, it's no problem. So I thought I would include that. So that's in these little bits of mahogany have been literally around the world, because he's toured quite extensively as well. So I don't know if you brought that one, but I like to think so anyway. And then there are cherry teeth. I don't know what they are, I just did things, and little dots. The bridge is rosewood, and I wanted an adjustable bridge. So I managed to get a hold of thumb screws and built a bridge around it. And it's got a bone saddle. The bridge, because what happened as well when I spoke to my brother about this Mandocello is he plays in a kind of a folky three-piece with a double bass and vocals, and they sort of alter between mandolins and guitars and ukuleles and things, and he felt that maybe the more traditional Mandocello would sort of, there would be an awful lot of bass basically with the double bass and that. So I said I'll make it ball-end so we can sort of choose which string gauges we want to put in. So I made it, and it's ash, and you thread the balls through there and you don't actually feel them. It's fastened around the bottom there. You can see they're a little off center. That's because the pull of the strings meant I had to just move this one a little, which sort of annoys me, but it had to be done because the bass side obviously pulled more, so I had to just shift it over a little bit. The thing that's holding this here is actually a brake cable from a bicycle, which seems to work fine, and then a little piece of chromed or nickel plated metal just to protect it. This is the first binding I've ever done. It's not perfect, it's pretty good. Just a little bit of, I had to sort of fill a little here and there, but it's no big things. And it's oak binding. And then we have, going up to this side, we have a rosewood fretboard, 19 frets if you count this little thing here, and my half moon. No dots, which is the way I like it, and as it happens my brother does as well, because he's the one. But there are brass dots running down the side just to aid in finding one's way around. The bone nut, no 0 fret this time. I decided I wouldn't do that. I wanted to, well, I don't know, felt more traditional that way. And it's hard to get it in. It's very dark, but it is a rosewood. There we go. It's a rosewood cap on the headstock. And it has the sort of mirroring the half moon kind of curve thing going on there. The neck is 3-piece, so it's maple, and some of this, I don't know what it is, wood I used for that mini uke I built. It looks nice. As someone, if you're a bit observant, you see that the scarf joint slipped a tiny bit. Does not affect the strength, but yeah, it's one of these things, you know, when you start that. Continues up the heel. You see there, it's got the strap button as well. And there is no thrust rod in this, but there is reinforced. There is a square steel tube running in it, and it seems to do the job very well, because it hasn't shifted since I put the strings on. This is, I took my time with this, so the fret job is as good as I'll ever get it. There's no fret edges, there's no noise, which is really good. It's got actually birch sides, which is bolted, which looks really nice. And I had a book matched piece, but as things go, I broke it when I bent it. I used a heat bend, home build heat bender this time. So I had to take another bit, but still, you know, you can't win them all. And this, or the flamboyant back, is the same birch, just to give it a little nice effect. And it's really easy. easy to play, which surprised me. I thought it would be like trying to play a railway track, but it doesn't. And I think it sounds pretty good. What I noticed with the Mandocello is that it's quite easy to sort of push your fingers in between, and so instead of playing, you play, which that's a practice thing. So and we put on guitar strings. We put in light bronze phosphor strings, so 052. Took away the A string, what would have been the A string, and it goes, the top string here is 016th, and I think it's probably dropped a little bit in tuning, but I've had it tuned up to E, which is what it's going to remain in. So it's 2 full steps higher than the traditional Mandocello, but it is a Mandocello scale. It's 25-inch scale, 652 mil. So longer than the Gibson, and the body, the basic measurements of the body, meaning the width here and the length of the body, are actually taken straight from a Gibson A style, but then I've done my own sort of styling on it. The body is about 10 mil thicker than a Gibson would have been, so it's about 90 something millimeters, so pretty thick. Which helps the volume, of course. So I hope I didn't blow the mic there or anything, but yeah. Mandocello, built from an old piano and a few extra bits. So, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.